and welcome to Database Management Systems. I'm Javita Christie, and in this video, I'm going to explain to you how you can nest a block inside a block in PLSQL, and at the same time, how you can make your program or your code more modular, where you don't have to repeat several parts of your code again and again. So you can create a procedure, which is like a subprogram, which helps you to actually make your code be more readable and reusable. So let's begin. So now I'm going to teach you how to nest blocks within PLSQL. So your nesting blocks means you're writing one block inside another block. And not just that, but I'm also going to teach you how to use the concatenation operator in PLSQL. Concatenation operator helps you to join two different strings. They could be variables or just strings. And then you can join them and display them or do whatever else you want to do with them. So let's start with the first program. Once again, I'm typing my code in Notepad and then copy pasting that into PLSQL command line, Oracle SQL Plus. So first, I'm going to write down declare, and I will mention the name of my variable, which I am naming as message, and its data type, which is variable character. This is the same as what you use in SQL. And the size, I'm going to mention 100, so it can store 100 bytes. And then equal to, and I'm only going to write here hello and semicolon. Now next, after declare, obviously we are writing begin. And within begin now, instead of directly beginning to code, I'm going to mention declare. And at this point, I will mention another message. And this time it is message 2. And here I'm going to again write the data type variable character with the size 100. And here I'm going to use the concatenation operation. So remember the variable that I declared right here. I have declared message. So I'm just going to use that variable here. So I'm going to type message. And then I'll use these pipes. So 2 times. When you use pipes 2 times, that is concatenation. So I'm doing concatenation here by using pipe 2 times. And then I'm going to mention world. So this is, again, I'm just trying to print hello world, but just wanted to show how nested blocks work and how concatenation works. So that's why I've created message and message 2. And message 2 is actually a concatenation of message with the string world. And now once that is done, right here, then I am going to now write down the begin block of the begin part of the second block of PLSQL. So here, so remember that this begin actually goes with the declare that we wrote here. So begin, and I'll write down dbms underscore output dot put underscore line and message 2, which is what I want displayed. And once that is done, I can end this block which is inside, and I can end the block which is outside, and then do a /. You can always add / afterwards in PLSQL command line. So my code is ready. Now I just have to select it and copy it by pressing Ctrl+C and right click and paste. And once it's pasted, I'm going to hit enter and /. So you can see that it is printing hello world as expected by concatenating 2 different strings. And this is how you can perform nesting of blocks in SQL. And once again, if you have forgotten to actually perform the set server output on, if you haven't done that, then please do it before every program that you start. Otherwise, before every time you start your SQL Plus command line, make sure to run that command Only then this message which I'm printing here will be displayed. Otherwise, you might just get PL/SQL procedure successfully completed. So that's how you can nest blocks in SQL plus command line. Whatever PL/SQL code that I have taught in videos up to now, we have used all anonymous blocks of PL/SQL code. Anonymous blocks are blocks without a name. So I have not divided my code into separate sections. But if I do that, if I divide my code into several sections, then it will help me to, first of all, organize my code, better manage it. And also at the same time, I can apply some sort of a strategy to make my code modular. So that means if I create some sort of a sub program that I can use again and again, then I would have to write less amount of code, less number of lines of code. And that is what a procedure actually does. It allows you to create subprograms within your program, and these subprograms are reusable. So procedures are usually used to perform some sort of an action, but there are also functions, and if you have studied other programming languages, you would know what a function is. It is used to calculate something and then return an answer. So you can also create functions in order to increase the manageability of your code. But you can also use procedures, and in this video, I'm going to explain only procedures, and functions I will explain later on. And we need to create procedures. We need to name several parts of our program, because right now the code that we are writing is very small. But in practice, when you go and do a real world problem, you will realize that you actually need to write code that is really, really large. And at that time, writing a code without naming any of the sections will make your code very hard to manage and very hard to organize. So that's why we need to use all these subprogram features. Now, previously we did a program on, printing hello world, a very simple program. Now imagine that I want to create an application, and within my application, I want to print hello world several times in several places. So I wouldn't want to really, write that same code for printing hello world many times, multiple times everywhere, because it causes lots of problems. First problem is obviously I have to type more, and the number of lines in my code increases. It makes my code very hard to manage. And another problem would be, what happens if I want to change that message? Instead of hello world, I want to now say hello universe. In this case, I would have to find all the places in my application code where I have written hello world and change that message to hello universe. And you can imagine how much time that will take if you have written a really large application and written hello world in many places. So in order to avoid all these problems, we are going to learn to make procedures. So let's go ahead and quickly open SQL Plus and start implementing it. So to create a procedure in PL/SQL, you need to write down, first of all, in Notepad, create or replace procedure. So procedure is a keyword, of course, and we write create as well as replace. The reason why we write down create along with replace is because it might happen that this type of a procedure is already available in your system. So if it's already there, then if I mention replace as a keyword here, then it's going to simply replace that procedure which is already present. So you won't get an error saying that procedure already exists. So you can always write down create or replace, which means it will either create it or if it's already there, it will replace the existing one with the one that I'm writing here. Now, once I've written this, I'm going to write the name of my procedure. So I want to name my procedure Hello World. So I'm simply going to write down Hello World as the name of my procedure. And then I will mention is. So is another keyword, right? And this keyword is also used to start the procedure. So whatever follows is your actual code which you're going to write, which you're going to implement. Now, don't get confused with all this procedure thing. It is just the same as declare, begin, end that we did earlier. Only thing, instead of declare, we have now create or replace procedure. And once that is done, we mention is, and then you just do everything that you would do in a declare block. So I'm going to write down a variable message as variable character with 100 size, and then of course equal to, and here I will mention hello world. So you can see I've done that much, and exclamation inside, single quote outside, and then once you do that, never forget to put the semicolon. And once you're done, so this is the same thing as, putting a declare block. Now, once declare block is ready, all I need to do is begin. So once I write down begin, I just have to now write down my line where I'm going to print this message. So dbms underscore output dot put underscore line. I know it's quite big, but the more you practice, the more you grow to like it, actually. So dbms output dot put underscore line, and now I'm going to write down the name of my variable, which is message, and semicolon, and then I'm going to do end, and after writing end, I'm going to mention the name of my procedure. So usually in a normal PL/SQL block, we write down begin and simply end. But in this case, you're going to write down create or replace procedure, and then you're going to mention end and the name of the procedure, which is hello world, and then you put a semicolon. And now what I've done is I have extended PL/SQL. So this is like creating a sub-program which can be called from other programs in PL/SQL. And I'm going to show you how to call this. But for now, let us copy this. And you can try to paste it again over here. Once that is done, you can just press enter and /, and it says procedure created. Now, usually at this point, if you have made any mistakes inside, then it probably won't show you the mistake. It won't give you which error you exactly made and in which line. It will just give you a message like procedure created with compilation error. If that's the message you're getting, then please go ahead and check your code once again. Try to match it with what I have written. And if there are mistakes, correct them, and I'm sure it's going to work after that. Now, once the code is ready, make sure you commit. So commit. What happens now is this procedure, hello world, is going to be saved inside my system, and it's going to remain in my system till I delete it. So now it is persistent in the memory. And now once I've done this, I can now call this. I can call this procedure. And to call this procedure, you can write another PL/SQL block. And inside that PL/SQL block, you can call this procedure. So you can write begin. I'm going to type here because it's just 3 lines. So begin and mention the name of your procedure. And the name of my procedure is hello world. So begin, hello world, and then end and / to run. And you can see here, hello world is getting printed, right? It's not getting printed because I wrote hello world here, because I'm not typing the string, I'm actually calling the procedure. The name of my procedure is also hello world, and that's why it is getting printed here. So this is how you can create lots of procedures in PL/SQL. and you can hide data, make your code more organized and more manageable, and just it looks good, and you can increase your reusability by creating procedures that you can use and reuse in several applications several times. So this is how it works, a PL/SQL procedure, and that's it for this video. In the next video, I'm going to explain to you more about procedures, so please do watch that one, and thank you for watching this one. See you in the next video.